Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. It is Thursday, April 25th, and I just wanted to make this quick video to break down my trades today. I had another $1,000 day with $713 of profit on AMD and $298 of profit on Taiwan Semiconductor. But I'm not just going to go through and go minute by minute and break down the ins and outs, because the basic way that I traded it is just like I always trade. So I want to avoid making the same type of video over and over again, because honestly that'll get boring for you guys to watch and it'll get boring for me to make the same video. So each time I do make a video, I want to focus on a particular aspect of that trade and what made that trade work, rather than just going minute by minute through the ins and the outs of each individual contract. I'll still put up the detailed entries and exits so you can take a look at it and put up that screen capture against your own chart and take as much time as you want to go through it yourself. But I'm just going to highlight certain moments of the trade that are actually important and why I want to focus on certain things. The main purpose of me making this video today is to highlight a few different things of the strategy that play out very often, but they definitely played out yesterday and today. And one of the first concepts that I want to get into is the idea that I touch on so often on this channel of not getting afraid and not stopping out because you're scared of something. And yesterday, I had mixed success with AMD, because I got in with a number of contracts about 15 minutes into the open, and then I rode up this little pop that we had and closed about half of my position. And my intent was to keep on closing out slowly for the next 30 minutes or 40 minutes after the contracts that I had already closed. And it just fell out on me quickly. So basically for the last almost the entire day, after the first half hour of the day, I was losing money. And so I had made some profit on the first, I think I had 8 contracts yesterday that I opened up about 15 minutes in, sold 4 of them on a couple of these big candles as they popped up, and then I had half of my position. So I had 4 contracts remaining, and then the ass just fell out, and then I was losing money. So I had been up nearly $200, and then before I knew it, I was down over $200. But instead of just, freaking out and closing out, I took a look, I went left, so when in doubt, look left. Take a look at what's come before you and try to establish some good support and resistance levels, which is what I did. And I realized that I wanted to stay in the trade and see what happened. And that's what I did. Stayed in overnight. We fell out even harder overnight, but this morning we still hadn't broken below the support level that I had set as my final stop out point. So the the make or break moment that would have forced me to get out for a loss, we hadn't reached that point yet. And now, granted, I've said this before, and it's true, I'm a very, very aggressive trader. So, what I'm willing to stand as far as, potential losses is probably a lot more than what a lot of people watching are prepared to stand. And that's not a good or a bad thing. It's individual preference. Only you can decide how much you're willing to deal with as far as the pain that you can see on your P&L. I mean, I've seen negative thousands of dollars in a day on my P&L, and I'm okay with it. But you might not be. So, this is just an individual preference type of thing. But anyway, back to the point. So we opened up this morning and we were getting fairly close to my ultimate stop out point, but I saw a particular moment where I thought, okay, price has fallen out so hard and it was so cheap now that I actually added onto the contracts that had been losing me money from the day before. So like in my book and in my video course, I talk about fixing your average price. And you can fix your average price by adding in at the same strike price when the price has fallen a lot from when you got in before. So I had like 4 contracts that were left over from yesterday that I had spent, definitely over $100 on each one of these contracts yesterday. And then this morning, that same strike price, those contracts each only cost like $30 to $40. So I got in on, I believe it was 10 extra contracts, and that lowered my average price by a lot. And then pretty much right after I got in and fixed my average price, it just shot up and pretty much shot up all day long. And I was closing out positions like I usually do on big push-ups. And then one other thing that is part of my strategy that I utilize a lot is I added in some more after I had already made a profit on these slight pullbacks. So I added in at the bottom this morning, came up, I'm closing out, falls a little bit, I add in right at the moment where I know that we're about to bounce. Add in here, bounces up, closing out, making profit, falls a little bit again, add in some more, continues to rise up, and then I closed out my last contract around, I don't know, like 1 p.m. today or something like that. So I'll get into it in the screen share in a second. But long story short, today's action and the way that I handled yesterday and today illustrates a couple of different concepts in my strategy. Don't get scared. Don't get greedy. Add in when you see a good spot to add in so that you can fix your average price. And, just play it the same way. I did the same thing today that I do pretty much every day, and made me $1,000 for practically no work.
Okay, here we are taking a look at today's 1 minute AMD chart. Right here, I've filled up the whole screen with it so you can see this is the action throughout the day. We just basically climbed all day long today. And I'm going to bring in my detailed entries and exits for a second. So there you can see everything that I did. Down here, the total's $1,011, $713 of profit on AMD, $298 of profit on TSM. Gonna make this a little bit smaller. And okay, so a couple of things that we want to pay attention to. So yesterday, we basically fell all day long. It was, really bad day the second half of the day. What I was just talking about on the intro was yesterday, I got in right here as we were bouncing off the 200. So about, 10, 12 minutes into the day, I got in. And then I got in with, I believe, 8 or 10 contracts, something like that. And I was closing them out on these pushes. And then it basically just fell out on me. So, I had like a good 10 minutes worth of positive action in which I was getting out, one by one, and then it just fell out. So I was kind of left holding the bag here, but I didn't want to stop out the rest because I really didn't feel like it was going to be a sustained downwards move throughout the day. It ended up, we came back a little bit, but it was just sort of going sideways on me for the second half of the day. So it was overall not a green day, but not a terrible red day. I mean, I made a little bit of money right here, and then I lost money on my remaining open contracts throughout the rest of the day. And then this is overnight. So you can see that right before we opened up, it was just awful, like pre-market. And then the first 3 minutes of the day today just fell out so hard. But instead of stopping out, I actually added, and I got 10 more contracts way down here. Why is that? Well, if you look left, let's check out that red line right there. Let's change this to the hour chart. And then if we look left, you'll see this was my absolute stop out point. This is the level that I did not want to go below, because this was a couple of days ago, the low, like basically the low of the real body. So we've got these 2 hour long candles back to back where the low point is pretty much the same point. So for me, that is a good support level to assess right here. So that's what I did. I thought if we get below that, I'm getting out. And you can see on the minute chart today, we literally touched that level. So we just came down and like bounced right off of it basically. And if you look at the detailed ins and outs, you can see that I got in at 833 with 5 contracts, and then 835 with 5 more contracts. What that means is that right here, when this candle started to really take off, I got in with 5 contracts right here, and then 835, right as we were coming up touching the 200, I got in with 5 more, because I had a really strong feeling that we were going to retrace and blow through this 200, and then the 200 was going to be our support level on the day, which it ended up being exactly that. So it ended up working out just how I thought it would. But the point that I want to really pay attention to is, if you look at the detailed entries and exits, you'll see that I buy 3 more contracts at 8:51 a.m. So if we go to 8:51 right here, right after we had these big washout candles here and we're coming up, we had this red candle and this green candle that engulfed entirely the red candle. And then I knew we were going to bounce off and come back up, and we did. And then again at 8:57. So again, we had another couple of candles wash out. We turned it around. I got in again. So we're popping up, wait for a little retracement, get back in, pop up, wait for a little retracement, get back in. I could have done it a third time right here, right as it was touching the 200 again, but I didn't want to push my luck. I mean, I'd already had a lot of success for the day, and I just I'm aggressive, but you don't always want to be like maximum aggressiveness all the time. So I thought, okay, I got in and out 2 different times, adding in, and it's worked. I'm just going to hold all my positions that I have at this point, and we're just going to keep on, closing them out through the day. And you'll see I was steadily closing out positions, all throughout, like 9:08 all the way to 9:16. Kind of every few minutes on big pushes, I'd close out one more at 11:41, and then I closed out my final position today at 12:03. So let's find 12:03. I'm gonna minimize this a little bit. So 12:03 right here. This is where I got out on my final contract. So I had basically been riding it all the way from way down here all the way up here. And that's what made me $713 on this one ticker right here. Now, as you can see, in hindsight, I could have made even more money if I had let it run a little bit longer and gotten out at this, maximum high of the day today, right here at like 230. But yeah, I'm happy with what I got. Like, I'm not worried about it. I mean, $1,000 is great on the day. So, that's the don't get greedy part of the equation. Because when I got out at 1203, we were already at another high, and anything can happen. You just, it's like you want to lock in your profits, and yeah, you want to be aggressive and you want to take risks, but at the same time, you want to preserve your capital too. So it's always a bit of kind of a tightrope act of thinking like, exactly how aggressive do I want to be? And for me, I had already made a lot of money today, and I was happy with that. So I got out. And yeah, that's how I traded it today.
Okay, we're back. Hope you enjoyed that little breakdown of today's trading activity. As always, if you haven't already picked up my book, Secrets of the Lone Wolf Trader, you can get that on Amazon. And if you'd like to get my video course, you can go to lonewolftradingclub.com. I've created a entire course that's over 7 hours long, over 40 individual lessons, and it basically teaches you from the absolute start to finish every single thing that I do every single day to make thousands of dollars a day. On my average days, I'll make like a couple $100. On good days, I'll make over $1,000 in a day, but pretty much every single day I am green. And so like on the days when I'm not green, like yesterday, overall, yesterday wasn't a green day. By the end of the day, I was down a couple $100, but that's not realized loss because I held my position open, and then today, when we opened up, I did what I needed to do to turn it back around, and then by the time I actually closed the position, there was a realized profit of over $1,000. So even on days where you're technically losing, you're not actually losing until you close the position. And so I would say that I'm green 80% of the time. Usually 4 out of 5 days per week I'm green. So if you want to learn exactly how I do it, get the book or the course, or just want to keep on watching videos on the channel, this is free. This will always be free, so you can just come back here and check out new videos as I make them. So I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you have a good day trading tomorrow. Remember, it's Friday, so always size down on Fridays and try to get in and out as quickly as possible. So I'll see you soon. Take care.